Hi, so for today's video, we're going to be doing a review on the Humla Romper by Paradise Patterns. And this is the romper, and it's so cute. I think Paradise Patterns, like the name states, I think the designer lives in Hawaii. I don't think on Oahu. I feel like from her Instagram post, I feel like it's on one of the outer islands, like Maui or Kauai or something. But this is a pattern and super cute. It comes with a romper, a top, and a bralette. And the romper you can make, actually romper and the top, you can add the bralette to it to make it like an outfit with a bra in it, which is super comfortable as always. It's breastfeeding friendly because you can see as she's pregnant, it's maternity friendly, and just a super cute pattern. I can see this being like if you have a friend that's pregnant or is gonna have a baby, this would be a cute gift to make because you don't need it to be very fitted. Like you can get rough estimates on the measurements and probably make a cute outfit. So spoiler alert, this is the finished romper on me. And as you can see, I made some adjustments to this. It's definitely not as gathered and wide. And I realized as I was making it, and I'm going to show you all the adjustments that I made, I almost finished the whole thing and then decided to do the adjustments. So I feel like that happens a lot. So I'm going to show you exactly what I did, and hope this helps you. This happens to me a lot where I cut it out. I measure myself, I cut out the pattern, I almost finish it, then I try it on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it doesn't fit. I'm gonna have to just scrap the whole thing, and I usually do. So I'm pretty proud of myself this time that I made the adjustments and altered it so that I can have a wearable toile. This is the first time I'm sewing this, so it's kind of like my fit test, but I also wanted it to be wearable. It was huge on me. I wish I took a picture, but I think I was just so shocked that, I should have known from cutting out the pattern pieces it was going to be huge, but I thought when I gathered it up over here, it would magically fall nicely and fit. That was not the case at all, but I think I just didn't like it so much that I didn't take a picture. I really wish I did. But just imagine this almost twice as large, and it's already pretty loose and wide this way. It was like really big, and I do not want to look like I'm pregnant. Not that that's anything wrong, but I already have my kids and I don't want to go back there. So for me, a slightly more streamlined look is better. Also, I didn't check on this pattern or her company, but usually patterns are drafted for someone who's 5'5" and I'm 5'1". So that is always a problem for me. I have to adjust pretty much any pattern and just shorten it by like 2 or 3 inches from the middle somewhere. What else about this? It's a confident beginner level, and it goes from extra small to 5XL, or bust size from 31 inches to 57 inches. So it's pretty size inclusive. I did buy this on her website. I usually like to buy my patterns on Etsy if they are linked up on Etsy. Did I check? I don't know. Just so that when I open my Etsy account, I have all my patterns there versus like going to each little store and then forgetting where I have things stored and whatever. I'll show you what I did to get this romper look. If you are short like me and have alteration issues, it's always nice to make your alterations in the beginning before you cut out your pattern, but 90% of the time, that's not the case, right? Unless you're doing something or making something that you already made. So this is the way that I altered it. I am definitely not a professional seamstress. This is just like my rough and dirty way I made this wearable. So if this helps you, please let me know in the comments and let's get into it. I'm going to be starting from pretty much almost finished. So I already assembled the romper portion, and I was just starting the elastic. I went all the way up until I made this casing, and sew the elastic. And to get up to here, you pretty much do the casing for the bralette too. So the bralette was all done, and we're just starting from here and going backward and going forward. So because the small was so wide and huge, I folded it where I could sew the inseam. So just right sides together of the pant leg so that you get, you know, the front and the back all lined up. And this is the front with the longer side. And the alteration I did was very rudimentary. I just sewed in from the edge 1 inch at first. So I went all the way down. So all the way down around, and at the crotch area, I did go a little bit shallower just because it's not that long, right? And then around, and then it still wasn't enough. It was still like super huge. And so I did it again, like 1 inch from this line all the way down up into here, and like the crotch area I did go a lot shallower because I didn't want the crotch line to be going lower and lower and lower. It's already kind of long for me because I didn't adjust for height because this is the first time I'm sewing this. I should always know though that for me, I'm 5'1". Most patterns are drafted for 5'5", and yeah, I should always just cut off maybe 2 inches from the middle, wherever the lengthen and shorten line is, for best results. So I get a better fit for the first time. But then, yeah, so I went shallower here and then 1 inch all the way up into here. And at the very tops, I do want to keep this casing. So I didn't sew through the casing. I just went up here and up here. And that way, when I get the right fit, then I can kind of unpick just up into like 1 inch from the stitch line that I want. And then I can refold it. Well, I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I do like the 2 inches in, and I should take a photo of it before I cut because this is kind of a big alteration. I'm going to have to remember to do this for the next one I made. Okay, and then now I'm just going to get my fabric scissors, and it was so nice having this all night nicely French seamed, but I can't be bothered doing that like again. So I'm just going to cut maybe like 1/2 inch from the stitch line that I liked, and I'm just going to serge. I personally don't mind having the serge on the inside. It's fine. The French seam was really nice, and it felt really nice to the skin, you know, when you're wearing it. But next time. And she does go in the pattern, she does go into it, how you can adjust the crotch depth and width and everything. I just, this is my first time sewing this, so I just kind of went with her original pattern and would make the adjustments later. So this is like a wearable 12 for me. And this, yeah, this fabric wasn't very expensive, so I don't mind kind of experimenting with this. So I'll just show you how I'm adjusting it. The bralette portion, even though, you know, we took the time to like make the dart and everything, you can't even see it from the outside. So it doesn't really matter to me, at least. Okay, and now we're just going to unpick about 1 inch from here just to open it up. So I'm just gonna unpick it kind of in the same spot so that it doesn't unroll or unravel any more than you need it to. Okay, and on this side also. So it's hard to see because the thread is very matching. When I have to say, I did sew it all the way up until where I made the casing for the top and I put the elastic in. I sewed the elastic in and then I tried it on and realized it's way too huge. So I did have to unpick the top casing to get to this point where, you know, I can cut it and everything. So now I'm just going to open it up flat like this. I'm going to recreate the seams. So I'm just going to sew down from here all the way to here and then recreate that casing. So yeah, let me show you. Right now I'm just going to stitch from here to here. Okay, so it's all the way stitched, even this quarter turn down portion. Okay, I think I forgot to mention too that I did it for both the back and the front edge. Let's cut off all these strings. And so yeah, I serged all the way around, so now it's all finished. Now I just have to recreate the casings. So one of the sides I will keep open. Okay, so just get your iron. And it should be super simple. It's already folded. Everything's already there. You do have to decide which way you want the serger or the middle seam to go. So on this side, I'm going to go to the left. And always good practice to give your item a press after sewing. Press the serger seam the same way from the front to the back. And then now you know where this part has to go. It has to face that way. So we can press it the correct way. So yeah, this is not the side seam, this is the back seam, which is fine. We can start the casing opening from the back. That's perfectly fine. So it's not back stitch at these 2 points, so just kind of be careful about that. And then now we're going to fold it over again, just like the pattern states, right? We're going to create the bralette portion, and it's already been pressed in most spots, so it's going to clip around. And now we're going to recreate that 1/2 inch casing. Okay, so this is the back. Because this is the opening right here, I'm going to leave it open from here to here. So I'm just going to stitch around with a 1/2 inch from the edge. Okay, so now the casing is pretty much back to normal. We're just starting it from the back instead of the side, like in the instructions. So at this point, just go ahead and start finishing your project as an extra small. So like for the elastic size, I did do the small and it was way too loose. So I even took off 1 inch. So I cut a 30 inch piece for the upper bust and a 27 inch piece for the under bust. And this would not fit me. It was like way too loose. It wasn't holding up anything. So I'm gonna go to, I think I'm going to do 28 and then 25, just so that it can be a little bit more snug. And thankfully it's super easy. So 30 minus 1 inch and another inch, that automatically makes it smaller. And then for my other piece, I cut it 27. I just want to do 25, so I'm going to cut off about 2 inches. You can also measure this later. I just know for myself that I need it a little bit more snug. So yeah, at this point, I'm just going to do everything as normal, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, as I was doing the under bust elastic, I forgot I have to close up this casing too. So you will have to close it up in the front and in the back. I started at the back. So just wanted to add that in there so that you don't get confused or why I skipped a step. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and sew right here and then finish enclosing the underbust casing. Okay, so I finished the bralette portion and I tried it on. One thing I want to let myself know for later is that I would like this part to be a little bit longer. I don't know about you, but I would like a little bit more space to pull this up. I don't want it very low because then, you know, it shows like your armpit fat. So I do want this part right under my armpits, and then for it to be by the bust area more comfortably, I think it would be better and longer. And there was an option to cut it a little bit longer for the, I think it was cup size CD version. So just a note for myself for later. And then I realized, I tried it on and I'm like, why is it so baggy still? I realized I didn't adjust the crotch portion. So if you look at the pattern piece, it is not as wide this way, but it's unusually long right here, right? Because we didn't adjust it. So I just turned it right inside out and made it flat. They do have the French seams right here, so you can fold it over and it'll be nice and flat. I'm just going to mark for myself. You can just do this at the sewing machine. Okay, I can't find my purple pen that I always have, so I'll just use chalk. So I'm just gonna make the edge even by folding the French seam down and folding this down nicely, lining this up. And I'm just going to cut off like 2 inches because, let's see, yeah, 2 inches. So let's just keep it proportional, right? And let's do 2 inches all around. Apologies if this is not how you make adjustments to a pattern. I don't know. I'm just really winging it, and I'm just showing you guys what I did in case you need to do some quick fixes too. And also what will happen if you do these things. So I'm just going to go ahead and stitch down here. I'm also going to serge and press it towards the back. Okay, I just tried it on, and I wish I could like film in the bathroom and film here, and then I don't know, but it's just a lot of work. So I tried it on and I still have like tons of like crotch room to spare. I think I'm gonna do another 1.5 inches from this line in, just because it's so baggy right now and I just want to make it wearable. So we're gonna do 1.5 inches. And this is actually weirdly helping it's already a drop crotch kind of pattern, and that's why I mean I liked that about it, but it was just too much, like, because I didn't adjust for my height. So if you adjust for your height, you probably won't have this pattern and won't have to do so much adjustments. I should take a photo just to show you the difference. So I'll just do it over my clothes and then, yeah, show you guys. Hi. Okay, sorry for the weird angle. I just wanted to flip the camera up real quick. So I have this just over, I'm wearing leggings and a shirt. But if you can see how wide it is at the bottom, and I didn't sew the 3 inches or 3.5 inches yet. I just sewed the 2 inches already, and I just have a lot of space right here. Also, the crotch is pretty low for my body, like natural crotch length. I don't know how many times I said that, the word crotch, but sorry, is up here and it is like down here. So just gonna show you the difference on what it looks like now. Super wide at the bottom, right? It looks okay at the top. I think it's baggy, but not like crazy baggy like it was before. I probably should have done this in the first place, but the bottom part still needs some work and alteration. So I'm just gonna do that adjustment and I'll show you again. Okay, so I made the next stitch down this way, and I'm gonna try it on again before I cut off the excess. Okay, so I think this looks way better. Sorry, my head's cut off of there. Looks way better, not so baggy right here, and it actually raised the crotch length, so the inseam is a little bit longer, which helps a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead now and hem it. I want the inseam to be about 2 inches. That would make it to be about this short. And I'm actually okay with that. One thing you do have to know is the pockets. So the pockets actually go down to here. So the shortest I can hem this is to the shortest or longest length on the pocket right here. So I'll probably hem it this much, which is 2.5 inches. So I'll probably go ahead and cut off an inch and then do a 1/2 inch turn down and then hem it 1 inch. Okay, so I finished the romper and I tried it on, you know, like without all my leggings and stuff, and it is so comfortable and so like easy and breezy and like cool. Like I can't wait to wear this on a hot day. And because you don't have to wear a bra with this, it makes it just that much more comfortable. I would wear like maybe those cakes or, you know, those silicone sticky things, but yeah, it is so comfortable and the pockets are really nice. It is not as gathered and, you know, like wide as, you know, the pictures show and that it probably should be. But I think I like this even more. I always forget that I'm short and I kind of get overwhelmed if there's too many gathers, there's too poofy. It's just not a flattering shape for me. So even though I like it on other people and I like it in the line drawing, I don't particularly like that for myself. So I do prefer this more streamlined kind of romper look. And it really helps that there's not so much material right here. Because you can see in the back, it is still a lot of material. It still looks more like a skirt or dress versus a romper because it's still very wide and comfortable. And you can tell if the crotch length is too high or not by just, you know, bending over, squatting, and moving around in general. Sew the straps on, and it's kind of cool because you can make adjustments for if you want the back on the lower side. Since it is like a braless kind of top, you can go lower, or you can, you know, make it higher too. I think it shouldn't be that high because if you look at the part in the back, the hem, it's going up. It should kind of be going straight. And so I think it's meant to be mid-back. A little uncomfortable. It's just right here because where the elastic is inside the thing, it kind of is high. Whereas it would be more comfortable if it was lower and then this part was higher. So just something for me to adjust for next time. Yeah, I mean, what can you say? It's a really cute romper. The pockets are really good, and you know, this is about as short as I can make it without having the pockets stick out at the bottom. And what I did was I folded up. I know I said I was going to do 1/2 inch and 1 inch, but I didn't want it to be a thick hem because with this kind of easy breezy kind of romper, you don't want it to be structured at the widest part on your thighs. So I did fold it up 1/4 and then fold it up 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches. So enough to catch the hem, but not make it super bulky. But yeah, I think it came out really good. It's super comfortable and I can't wait to wear this on a hot day, which it's almost summer. So this is like the perfect summer outfit. And yeah, I think I'm going to be making a ton more because it's such an easy, just pull it on kind of romper dress to wear, and you can probably dress it up or down depending. And the material I used is this like cotton. It's a very smooth cotton. I wouldn't say it's thin, but it's not thick either. And it does have shape. It's not very drapey. I think it's made by Trentex. I know they're a separate company. I did buy it at Fabric Mart, and I think it was like $7.99 a yard or something like that. This was a nice material to make it in. Something drapey and kind of on the thinner side, but not see-through, would be perfect for this. I do have another romper pattern for wovens that I do like. It's the Pattern Emporium. I'll list it down below because I can't remember what it was called, but it is a really good romper pattern. It doesn't have a bralette, but it is super easy and it has thicker straps. I do prefer these like little thin straps just for the look. I keep pulling it up. I think I have to take it in a little bit, maybe half an inch. I'll just like sew it. The ties came out really nice. I just like kind of bar tacked it here and here, and it's very subtle. So would I recommend the Humla Romper from Paradise Patterns? And I can 100% say that I do, with some exceptions. You will have to really know how the fit is for you and what you want. So I would totally do a toile out of, you know, some junk fabric and just really get it so that you can find out what you like. And I made so many adjustments. I'm gonna have to go back next time and rewatch this video and think about how I'm gonna cut out the pattern. Because I do like to do projector pattern cutting, and I just put up a video on that, and it is the best thing ever, especially if you want to make different sizes or try a new pattern and you don't know what size you are, and you want to try the smaller size, but you don't want to cut out the pattern and then have to reprint it again if you end up needing the size above. It's perfect for that. It's not super great for alterations though. So to me, I think the easiest way, if I plan to make this pattern like 5 more times, which I actually do because this is like the perfect Hawaii hanging out kind of outfit, I might print, like use a projector, print and trace it out on some gift wrap paper. I use easel paper for like, you know, the kids artwork kind of easel. So it's like on a roll. I may just like print it out, trace it out, and then fold something, you know, sometimes folding it to adjust for the lengthening, shortening. And because I also have to fold it this way because I took out like 2.5 inches that way. And then from, you know, this crotch portion on the pattern, the long shorts part, I took it in like 3 inches. So I'm gonna really have to play around with that. And sometimes, yeah, doing that on a paper pattern is a lot easier than making a note and trying to adjust it on the projection. I know there's a way that you can adjust the projector file. I will have to look into that, and maybe I will do a video on that if I can figure it out, because I have to make adjustments on so many patterns, and usually it's just the length, which is easy enough to do, but doing length and width may be harder because this is a size small that I started with, and when I look at the extra small, it's not that much smaller, so I'm gonna have to adjust the extra small. And not that I'm that small, but just because I don't want it to be super gathered, because it's supposed to be super gathered. So yeah, let me know if you have any ideas, suggestions, comments. Please like and subscribe if you like this video, and I will see you in the next one.